So then the two tablets were eventually put into the Ark of the Covenant, and actually that name too is not the most accurate translation for it. Um, we'll get into a whole discussion about it eventually, but like I said, first we're going to discuss the two scenarios that compile what Jesus said was the greatest commandment, right? And then eventually we'll go back into each of the subsections of the or the actual commandments, and tackle each one, one by one, and kind of see where they are. Uh, the next thing would be um, where the New Testament connection comes into play. And one of the examples I want to give, and I don't want you to get offended, um, but when it comes to the fourth commandment, which is the commandment about keeping Shabbat, right, keeping the Sabbath, and some of the explanations that are given by uh, primarily modern theologians, but I mean, we could probably trace it back um, to, you know, at least, prior to the Reformation periods. Um, but it's really with uh, the Reform and the latter offshoots of that, and everything that develops in the last, 200 or so years, that has kind of taken what is known as antinomianism, basically, kind of like de-emphasizing, uh, and not all groups do that. There's some groups that put more emphasis. There's some groups that, you know, de-emphasize the emphasis of the commandments. But either way, um, I want to touch on that and the misinterpretation and the understanding. But when it comes to the one of Shabbat, uh, most commonly, if you do any little research on it, it says that, nine of the commandments are explicitly talked about in the New Testament, but the one about the Shabbat is not, um, which is true, but that is only true if you look at it from an explicit, literal phrasing of or use of the command, right? But if we look at the implicit, or the, I should say, more the pragmatic approach of it, especially when it comes to Jesus, you'll see that the emphasis is there, and it is not what they teach or what they've brought down as teaching from a Christian point of view. And like I said, there's some subsets of